In this live stream, we're going to talk about how he went from being broke and having to do cheap virtual assistant work online to running a real online business and doing $10,000. How many months have you done $10,000 one or?
It's my first one, yeah. Like
Yeah.
the last one and this one, like I want to go for like 15,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's kind of like where it's heading.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to talk about his story and how he achieved what he's achieved and how you can do the same. So Jan, you joined 6 months ago. You started your business 6 months ago. What was it like before that? What was your life like before you
Don't
started
ask.
business?
That was like super painful actually. So I was working as a VA for a company in a quite, I don't want to talk about the industry, but it was a quite sketchy one. Basically, it's going to be how it was like it was a super kind of like sketchy type of thing, type of industry. I was working like way harder than I should have been working, and it was like super underpaid. So I was making like I don't know how much, like eight. Like I started out, so it was like this. So I was a student, and I don't know, like university wasn't really for me. I'm a super analytical guy, and like I really wanted to do mathematics, but it turned out there is no practical application to that at all, and it's not something you have to use in the real world, nor is it a skill set, or at least like at a certain level, I suppose. Basically, there was that, dropped out, and then I kind of wanted to go into marketing. So what happened is I had my like a friend of mine. He was studying mathematics as well and dropped out, and I knew him via a group that I was in Berlin, and he just offered me this job, and I went ahead, took it because it seemed like a good opportunity, learning some marketing, etc., etc. But it was more like a virtual assistant type of thing. So it was just like super, super repetitive tasks, copy pasting, just doing like the manual tasks. In a company, you have kind of like a hierarchy, and I was just like at the very bottom because I had no real like previous experience whatsoever. So they had no reason to give me like a higher position or anything. There was that, and that went for like for how long went that? That went for like 2 years, 2.5 years, for like a super long time, where I was kind of like freelance type of position. I could work remote, so from home, and could like travel around a little bit. Wasn't doing it too much, to be honest, just because it would pay, like the pay was so bad at the peak.
Yeah.
So this was right before I joined the mastermind. It was 1,400 euros, so that's like 1.6k US dollars,
Yeah,
something
before
around these lines.
tax. So you were doing cheap freelancing, very cheap
Very
freelancing,
cheap. Yeah, yeah.
very cheap freelancing, and you were living in Germany mostly, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was traveling to like Eastern Europe a little bit here and there, but that's pretty much it.
You were not in your place. You were a little bit too smart potentially to do copy paste work forever. So you decided maybe I should build a real business. And what happened then? You joined the mastermind, and like what kind of things did you learn, or what did your friends say, for example?
Like they were pretty supportive, I guess. Actually, to be honest, like they were like I was living in a flat. Like one guy was a sales manager as a startup. The other one was doing like high level marketing for another startup. So like they were super supportive about it. They weren't too happy because I wasn't cleaning the flat and it was just like taking a lot of time. But outside of that, yeah, they were like super supportive. My family, they're still kind of worried, to be honest, just because it's not like 100% stable yet or anything. But like just in terms of the direction that things have been going recently, like I'm super happy about it. Like again, I just hit like 10k in the last month, and I just made the first sale this month for like a
Oh,
mini kind of thing for like 1.5k as well. Things are just like moving in a good direction, I suppose.
what are your friends doing from before? I guess you had some friends who are working in startups. Do they have jobs, or do they also own businesses, or what are your friends doing?
Not really business. So like they were trying like a business here and there, but nothing that really took off. Just because they were kind of freestyling it, and they didn't have anyone where they could just like learn how it actually works.
Mm.
But it was more along the lines of, yeah, I want to start a business, and I'm just like gonna do something and hope that it's gonna stick. So that was kind of like the background. So there was like two or three guys like in my circle. The other guys, they were mostly studying, to be honest.
You had some guys in your friend circle who were studying. You had some guys who had a job, and a small amount of guys were actually trying business or doing business. And then you started, and you got some support. But what did you learn when you started? What kind of skills did you learn that really helped you? I guess not the technical stuff, right? Because you're not a technical expert or anything like that, I suppose. You are a technical expert,
Yeah.
so you don't have everything outsourced yet, or what's going on?
I think like percentage wise, like 95% outsourced
Mhm.
of my delivery. There's like one project where it's like super easy to get results. So I'm still doing that type of work. So just like in terms of skills, the biggest one, to be honest, is just like trying a bit less to plan ahead, because like that's just my personality. I really like to like plan things out, systematize everything, know everything up front.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
were creating all these systems when you joined, I remember, without actually getting sales yet. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't need to do that.
Yeah, yeah. So I talked to Daniel, like he's in the mastermind, and he told me, "What the fuck are you doing?" So I just stopped doing that, and I think this alone made a super big difference. And then, like, what I learned was basically just like focus on the stuff that matters and is actually gonna like have an impact. And the other one is not being like too perfectionistic and like worrying, okay, how is this gonna look in like 5 years? Like as a process, is this like 100% scalable? Do I never have to touch this again? But just being willing to like put in some more of the like grad work, I'd say, and just like fucking up something here and there, and then taking the learnings out of that. Just because it's like super hard to like anticipate all these small things. So it's just like getting as many sales in as possible to like blow it up as much, and then like seeing, oh, okay, like this part needs some work, this part needs some work, and then fixing those.
Have you learned sales? Because I mean, that's all great, but have you learned sales? What are the skills you've learned that are not technical now? Like
Uh,
actual skills, not. I don't care about mindset skills.
Yeah, sales by far the biggest one. Like how to build a funnel, getting like proven funnels that are working. In terms of like how to prioritize things inside of the business as well. So knowing that there always has to be like leads coming in, that you always have to have a certain amount of sales calls that you should be having on a weekly basis,
Mhm.
just to make sure that you're not like losing your skill set, because that's like something that I did like a while ago.
So you've learned those types of skills, and what has changed in your life? What have you been able to do that you weren't able to do before? Or where have you been able to travel? Or what has changed in your life so far?
In before, like the situation kind of was like a little stuck. Like I was just kind of like tied to my hometown just because I wasn't making the money required to like travel around. Also, like I don't know, like I didn't have like friends abroad, so it would be like tough to travel there and not knowing anyone. So basically, kind of like what it's looking right now, and this is kind of like since a month where I achieved this. It's basically like I'm at a point where the business not, doesn't need me as much. In order to retain it, it maybe takes like 3 4 hours a day or something like this, just because I have delivery automated right now. Like I obviously wanted to grow, but like theoretically I can do that, and I could just like, I don't know, like go to wherever I want to. So for example, right now, like we're in Barcelona, right?
That is correct.
Okay, good that I got that right. That's important. Yeah, like I'm living in Barcelona with like some friends who are doing exactly the same stuff. Like it's just like a super good, super supportive environment, I suppose.
You're living in Barcelona, you've learned some skills. What else are you able to do with your life now? So if your business keeps growing, where are you going to go? What do you want to do?
Like I don't want to run a marketing agency forever. So what I want to do is I just want to launch like different types of like startups and things like that. But first off, you have to have like a certain like a steady income flow that's like plannable and it doesn't require a lot of your time. So you can do like all these like kind of like cool experiments or like things where you could be like, oh, okay, this could like really help people and really make a difference in the world. So kind of like things like that, and like seeing
You need to learn the skills and you need to have money. That's what you mean, right?
exactly.
You're learning the skills now. Where are you getting paid? And you're building some capital to invest in future businesses as well. That's what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And who do you think should do this? Like, who should get into this type of business and why? And who shouldn't?
It's a good question, actually. So, first of like, who shouldn't do it? I think that's mostly like people who have like a bad work ethic and who
So
don't
people who have a bad work ethic should not do it. Okay. Who else should not do it?
like if you're happy at your job, for example. Like I think like if you're completely satisfied with that, that's completely cool as well. If you don't like taking a lot of responsibility and you don't want to have a big impact and that's not something that you care about, that's completely fine as well. So I suppose like for these types of people, it isn't really. What kind of like when this would be something for you, I suppose, that mostly would be like if you're dissatisfied first of like with how much we're making, with the circumstances of like in which you're working, if like the company culture is bad, if you're just like dissatisfied overall with the task that you're doing and it's not something that's kind of like your natural strength. So for me, that's like talking to people and making decisions. But for you, like it might be something like completely different. Generally speaking, like know like what you're good at and like try to leverage it as well, like in terms of a business.
In my opinion, you don't need to be good at anything. You just need to be smart, hardworking,
Yeah, yeah, true.
and
Yeah, you can
actually
get
one
good.
more. You don't need to be good at anything. That's the core thing that is most important. Like Jan wasn't good at anything when he joined, for example.
I was good at copy pasting though.
He was really good at copy pasting. Okay,
I was the best.
it's a $5 an hour task. But what Jan learned is how to do $1,000 an hour task or $10,000 an hour task, like sales, for example. Those are the type of skills that you're looking to learn as soon as possible to get out of the freelance rut. Let's say, sure, rat race, rut, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so that's Jan's story. Pretty straightforward. I think it's quite valuable. Thanks, Jan. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
All right. So what we're gonna do is, if you have any questions, guys, do comment below. I'll reply now or later. It's up to you. It doesn't have to be live as well. I'll check out the comment section later. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have also any specific questions for me personally or Jan, just private message me on Facebook. My name is Alex Vitkin. Just type into Facebook VITKIN Vitkin, or just read my name below this video. All right, thanks, and I'll see you guys in next live stream or video.